What up, people? Base Logic. Now, it's no secret how we feel about Joe Biden on this channel. But if we're being honest and we're being real, there's a difference between somebody that's actively pursuing evil and somebody that's basically on autopilot. Joe Biden, for instance. We all know Joe Biden is lost. The man doesn't know his ass from his elbow. You can ask him right now, hey Joe, do you believe in abortion? Yes. Hey Joe Biden, what's your wife's name? Next question. He's gone. We know that. It's not the same thing as someone like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who I also made a video about. Now, she was actively pursuing the right to murder a fetus in the womb up until the day she died. Didn't matter that she was 80. She still had her mental capabilities, and she was using them to pursue evil to her best ability. So, you know, fuck her. Now, it's fuck Biden, too. But it's kind of sad what's going on with this dude. Now, when he was younger, yeah, he did fucked up shit. He had his capabilities. He was pursuing the evil shit. But now at this point, he's, you know, he's all fucked up. So it's not really him that's pursuing the evil things. It's the motherfuckers that's around him. Kamala Harris. We need to talk about this broad. This broad is a problem. Now, a lot of people weren't tuned into all the debates, all the speeches and everything leading up to the election. I mean, it's overbearing to a lot of people. But I was watching every bit of it that I could. And I think this clip went under a lot of people's radars. Now, when Kamala was still in pursuit of the presidential election or the bid, some accusers came out and said that Joe Biden has sexually assaulted them. And when Kamala was on the trail and she got asked by an interviewer if she believed these women or not, this is what she had to say.
I believe them, and I respect them being able to tell their story and having the courage to do it.
Do you believe that the vice president should enter this race?
Oh, he's going to have to make that decision for himself. I wouldn't tell him what to do.
Do you believe these women? Or how do you feel about these women accusing Biden? Well, I believe them. That's what she said. Huh. So you believe these women until you don't know more. It's quite curious. Now, she recently did an interview with Charlamagne the God. And Charlamagne, that patch-eyed demon, he's got his own show on Comedy Central. Now, you might not know who he is, but let me show you a clip of all you need to know about Charlamagne before we get into the interview. Check him out.
That sentence sounds a little fishy. I got her drunk.
I didn't just get her drunk. I remember I went to the sex store and got Spanish Fly.
Oh, so you raped her?
Shut up. Spanish Fly. They sell it in the sex store. I'm telling the truth. They sell it in the Spanish store. I had to fucking.
They sell knives at the store too. You could put that to a girl's throat and have sex with it. That doesn't mean it's illegal.
So I put the Spanish Fly in the E&J. We drinking the E&J and shit. So in my mind, I don't know if this shit really worked, but I felt like I got horny as a motherfucker too. Right? So she was drunk as shit, and we had sex and shit, and like a lot of my boys was trying to come in the room and fuck her. I'm like, nah, chill, like I can't. You're not doing that.
A lot of your boys.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So, right. So
it's just one-on-one. It ain't right.
Yeah. So the next
trains are right.
So the next morning she wakes up. And we talk about it. And she's like, what happened? I'm like, we had sex. She said, okay, well, I'm glad it was you. Then a couple days later, she's like, yo, are you sure I only had sex with you? Because one of my stupid ass cousins was going around saying he fucked her, which he didn't. I know for a fact he didn't. Okay. I was there the whole time. Yeah. He did not fuck her. Yeah. He looked at her naked, but he didn't fuck her, right? So I'm telling her, no, me and you just had sex. Nobody else did nothing. So it just was weird that she was like, well, I'm just glad it was you. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I'm like, yo, you could have been in a real bad situation if it was another motherfucker there.
Compliment, man. A girl just said, yo, at least you raped me.
I didn't rape her. I did not rape her.
Hey, if it was any of your cousins or friends, it would have been rape. But
I didn't rape her because me and her had every intention of having sex with each other.
So then why would you put the Spanish Fly?
I'm still a freaky motherfucker, but listen,
was she passed out while you fucked her?
Nah, she wasn't like, She was like one of those drunks where no, listen, no, she was one of those drunks where like she was one of those drunks where she was like, she wasn't coherent, but she was up. You know when your girl is like when you're blacked out, like that, don't know what the fuck's going on type shit. Like she was really.
There you go. You heard it from his horse's own mouth. Now, to be fair, I can't pinpoint exactly which woman this happened to, but it's between two. It was either his wife, who he admitted in several interviews that that's how the first time they ever had sex. He was dating her, trying to take her out for years. These are his words. He was trying to take her out, finally got a date with her, and yeah, got her drunk, and they had sex the first time. Those are his story. It was either her, or it was 15-year-old Jessica Reed, the teenager who filed sexual assault charges on him the night of the occurrence. She was at a party with Charlamagne when he was in his 20s. She said that he raped her. She went to the police that night, filed charges. Charlamagne pleaded down to a lesser charge of contributing to the delinquency of a minor and some more other shit. But yeah, that's Charlamagne the God. Huge New York City DJ, Democratic love child. They fucking love this boy. Liberal fucking kingpin. And apparently he's moved himself so good that now he's interviewing the motherfucking vice president of the United States. So let's check out this interview from an accused rapist and a woman who said they believed rape victims until they were working with the accused raper. Wild. Let's check it out.
I'm very pleased to have joining me for a God's Honest Conversation, the Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
Hey, Charlamagne. Good to be with you.
My first question is a question that after the pandemic, when I ask, I expect a real answer, okay? You ready?
Okay.
How are you?
Oh, thank you for that. And I know you really mean it. I am well. I am blessed. You know, there is a lot of good that we can and have done, and I feel energized about continuing to get the work done. So thank you, and my family as well, and that's all I could hope for. So thank you for asking.
Let's talk about some of that work, because, you know, it's people like me that were motivated to vote for you, and we feel as if you've disappeared. If not disappeared, been silenced. Is that the case?
Not at all. I mean, even this week, there were two things that I'm actually more than that I'm extremely proud of that has been the product of months and months of work. One, something you and I have discussed before, the issue of maternal health. So I brought the issue of maternal health to the front stage of the White House for the first time, talking about what you and I have talked about, that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in connection with childbirth, Native women twice as likely to die, rural women 60% more likely, and we talked about it in terms of, look, this is an issue that needs to be addressed both in terms of the racial bias in the medical health profession, but also we need to address it in terms of the fact that after a woman gives birth to another human being, it's not right to say she's only going to get 60 days of coverage through Medicaid for what she might need in terms of postpartum treatment, whether it be depression or just exams. So we're saying let's extend it for a year. Dealing with an issue that uniquely affects Black women, fibroids. You know, we don't talk about this.
Yeah, this is one of my biggest gripe from these bitches that make childbearing and child rearing. They want to make this shit seem like it's the most complicated, hardest motherfucking thing ever. Check this out. Neanderthal bitches gave birth. You understand that, right? Neanderthal bitches with bones to their noses were able to give birth and keep it moving. Bitch, y'all smart, brave. Y'all could do anything a man could do. Man, cut that shit out. All this sympathy shit. I gave birth. Oh my God, I'm depressed. Oh my God, a whole human being came out of me. Yeah, you gave birth. That's how it works, you dumb bitch. What the fuck are you talking about? Yo, these motherfuckers kill me with this idiotic bullshit.
Publicly, but Black women know that it is a real issue in terms of their health and their life.
And only Black women know, because white women, Asian women, y'all not allowed to die giving birth. Don't let that shit happen. If it does happen, understand that no one's gonna give a fuck.
But we're bringing that to the public stage, and this has been the product of work I've been doing for many years, even before I got to the White House, but bringing it to the stage. Another issue, I just did an event yesterday about lead pipes. Well, look at the issue of lead pipes. What we know is that especially our children who are in public housing, in public schools, are more likely to be exposed to lead in paint and in pipes. And so we've put through our infrastructure bill a lot of resources into saying, let's clean up those pipes. Let's save the health of our children. And why? Because I've met mothers and fathers all over the country, from Michigan to Ohio, all over the country, who talk about the fact that when they turn on that tap, they are afraid that when they fill that glass of water, they may be filling it with poison. And so we're dealing with that because you know why? For our children, half of children under the age of 6, Charlamagne, in America are exposed or are at threat of being exposed to lead. That can stunt their growth. It could have permanent.
You're correct, especially in my town of D.C., where the children can be exposed to lead from pistols, though. There's not much the lead in the water you got to worry about. You know, it's 2021, 2022 almost. Motherfuckers got bottles of water everywhere you look. The lead that niggas got to watch out from is coming out of pistols. Let's address that maybe a little bit. Fuck the water. Motherfuck the water. You worried about the wrong lead, dummy.
Damage in terms of their mental capacity to be educated and literally create brain damage in some cases. What else have we done? Well, I've been working for a long time on saying black folks need access to capital. Everybody needs access to capital.
Did you catch that? I've been working a long time on saying that black people need access to capital. Well, fuck. I've been working a long time on saying I'm a goddamn gazillionaire. Like, man, what do you mean? You've been working a long time on saying some shit?
In particular, when we looked at the pandemic, how many of our small businesses could not survive the pandemic because they did not have the kind of financial support they need. So I just announced what we are doing that is about the $12 billion I got from the Senate, and extending that money to invest in minority-owned businesses, knowing that we have great entrepreneurs in our community who just need access to capital and need to stop being told that they're unbankable when in fact they are brilliant and are doing great things in the community. So these are some of the things I could go on. I mean, one of the other issues that I care deeply about is what we have got to do in terms of public transit. I've been working on the infrastructure law that we now have. You know, black folks as commuters, as workers, are 4 times more likely than other workers to go to work on the bus or on the train, on public transit, and we need to improve that. Again, I've been talking with folks around the country. I know personally from having, you know, been a bus rider, that what you see is that in underserved communities, folks are more likely to have to transfer to get to work because there aren't adequate bus lines coming into their community. I know that when you are 5 minutes or even 2 minutes late to catch the bus, in certain communities, you might have to wait a whole hour for the next one to come through, which means you're an hour late for work and may be looking at pay dock or maybe even losing your job. So these are big issues. They take a lot of time. And I'm about saying let's take on the tough issues, but let's do the hard work, which is not just about giving a speech, but it's about actually getting the job done.
Absolutely. You know, you get a lot of criticism.
You just gave a whole speech.
More criticism than any VP I've seen in recent memory, but there's nothing you've done on your worst day as VP that compares to, you know, Mike Pence's worst day as VP. But you seem to get crucified for every little thing in the media. Why do you think that is?
Well, I appreciate you asking the question, but let me just tell you something. My focus is going to, I can't tell you how many places from Chicago to Charlotte to Detroit where fathers and mothers bring their little girls and little boys up to me and they say, I want to.
And the fathers say, son, don't you never in your life bring no bitch home like this. You hear me? You hear me? If you bring a bitch home like this, I'll kill you. I hope that's what the fathers are saying to their sons about you. You heartless wench.
Meet Kamala Harris, and then the parent shows me on their phone a picture of their child watching the TV when I was sworn in, right? That's what I focus on in terms of my motivation and my inspiration and verification of the importance of being here and getting this work done. And that's where I focus.
Do you think the criticism comes from you being a black woman? A woman of color?
I think that, you know, there is definitely healthy discussion that I will leave others to have about that, but I'm going to be focused on the work and I will not be distracted.
It's okay to say yes. We see it.
Charlamagne, it's not okay for her to say yes. That's why she didn't, because she's not black. She don't want to go home and have her mama saying, what the fuck are you talking about, you black? We Indians. Yeah, what the fuck you mean? She ain't black. Nigga, you rapist, shut up.
It's okay. Now, I know you...
Time out real quick. Speaking of, let's throw a little interlude in for Charlamagne. Just a little more Charlamagne.
I sniffed your chair last time you was
You're
here.
a sick person.
I know. I did. I couldn't help it. You just left. Never fails.
Come on, y'all. Picture.
I was sniffing the seat.
Yep, sniffing J-Lo's seat. And back to the interview.
I wanted to speak on the Build Back Better plan too, but you know, it seems like once again, Senator Joe Manchin is stopping progress on that. Why?
Well, look, Build Back Better is something that the president and I care deeply about. It was, you know, it was our original idea. Even when we were campaigning, it's about saying, look, if first of all, the cost of living is too expensive for too many people. It has been this way even before the pandemic. And we need to bring the cost of living down. So Build Back Better is saying, let's bring the cost of childcare down. That working families shouldn't have to pay more than 7% of their income in childcare. We're saying prescription drugs are too expensive. We know, you and I know, I have family members who have diabetes. It's too expensive to pay for insulin, and insulin is the only thing that can save a diabetic's life. And so we're saying, bring down the cost so that folks wouldn't have to pay more than $35 a month for their insulin. We're talking about elder care. So many folks are raising their young children and taking care of their parents. And it is impossible to take care of their basic needs without having some assistance, and that means bringing the cost down so people can afford to live and satisfy their basic needs and their responsibilities. So we're going to keep pushing, and we're in extensive talks across the aisle with both folks in terms of Republicans and Democrats, but we're not going to give up on it at all.
She knew who was interviewing her, because this shit is becoming mundane. She knew exactly who was interviewing her. That's why she came in. This is not a real interview. She's giving you a fucking campaign speech, basically. She know this nigga don't know nothing about nothing. He just happy to be linked in with him. He gonna sit there, ask the stupid service level fucking questions, and she gonna babble on with this fucking word salad bullshit. This is bullshit. This is no respect given.
But where's the pushback on Senator Joe Manchin? Why is he allowed to constantly hold up President Biden's agenda?
I mean, look, here's the thing that is an important fact, which may sound technical, but it really is an important fact. We have, you know, folks know we have the White House as Democrats, the House and the Senate. In the House, we have, as Democrats, a majority, I believe as of today, it's by 3 votes. Out of hundreds of people. In the Senate, where there are 100 senators, we are split 50-50 in terms of the Democrats or independents who caucus with the Democrats and the Republicans. And that makes me, as the president of the Senate, the tie vote. Every vote matters, especially in the Senate, and we have to listen to the voices who represent their districts. And so that's what we do, and then we negotiate. Some people said we would never get the infrastructure deal done, but we got it done. Some people said we couldn't get the American Rescue Plan done, which was $1,400 checks for folks, where we expanded the child tax credit. A lot of the way we did that was also informed by some previous work I did to say, people have to pay, parents have to pay the bills every month, so let's get them the child tax credit in payments every month so that they can get through the month. We got that done. Some people said it couldn't be done, but it takes negotiation, and that's what we have to do. Sometimes it is frustrating. Some people say watching sausage get made, you think that's difficult? Well, watch a bill get made. It's frustrating, and sometimes it's just not pretty.
At what point do we, like, stop being politicians and just be real with the American people, Madam Vice President? Because we know Joe Manchin is ruining this country. The stuff he's holding up progress on are hurting people. They're hurting black people in particular.
Damn, Joe Manchin
if Democrats allow Joe Manchin to continue to do this, how do you convince black people to come out and continue to vote for y'all? He's holding up progress. We know.
I had no clue that Joe Manchin took the title from Trump. Like, damn, were y'all aware of that? No one let me know. Joe Manchin's the champ now? I didn't know. Motherfuckers gonna have to start arguing different with me then. You motherfuckers better stop bringing that Trump shit up. Y'all better start arguing Joe Manchin against me.
Yes.
Hey, Charlamagne, here's the thing, though. I think it's a mistake to try and think about this only through the lens of Democrats versus Democrats, when the fact is Republicans are consistently and unanimously standing in the way of progress. It is my recollection that not one voted for the American Rescue Plan. It is my knowledge that we couldn't get them to even agree, not one, to debate on what we were trying, except maybe Lisa Murkowski at some different points, to debate what we need to do on voting. Couldn't get, because of Republican opposition, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act.
The pipehead justice
to get up for a vote, something I
Okay.
helped write with Cory Booker.
Okay.
So let's put the emphasis where it really needs to be, which is how is it that today in this year of our Lord, 2021 in America,
This year of our
and on
Lord.
some basic issues like upholding our democracy, we can't get bipartisan support and therefore can't get it through. You go back to Reagan and Bush. There were Republicans during those eras and even before who voted to extend the Voting Rights Act. And now we can't get anybody to stand up and say, this is about our democracy. Let me tell you something. I start every single day reading the Presidential Daily Brief. It's called the PDB, often with the president in the Oval Office. What is in that is classified information about threats to our national security and hotspot.
Kamala, you read it to the president. You don't read it with the president. Joe Biden ain't reading a motherfucking thing at this point. Let's cut it out. You read it to him like you read the funny pages to him afterwards. Like the same thing.
Around the world. I have had direct conversations with prime ministers and presidents and a king, some of whom I have had over to my home. And they are around the world saying, what's going on with you in the United States? What's going on with this voting situation?
They're around the world saying, hey, have you been to Kamala's house too? That's what they're saying.
What's going on? Because right now we are debating whether democracies actually can survive, or is autocracy better, which is basically one person or one group telling everybody what they should do. This is what's at stake right now for America. And you can tell I'm a bit frustrated, more than that actually, that people are making this into a partisan issue instead of stepping up to say, save our democracy, and that means stop messing with people's right to vote like they're doing in Georgia and Texas. and this is so much bigger and generational impacting. And people have got to come together, and they need to be held to account, which is what you always do. We need to hold people to account, and that includes looking at the Republican Party.
I agree.
Where do you stand?
I agree Republicans are blocking progress, but when I think about it, it's like we went out, black people, we voted, got Democrats in the White House, got Democrats to Senate, but it seems like a Democrat, Joe Manchin, is always blocking progress. Like, if there's no hope in making Joe change, like, why not say that so at least we know who the problem is? Because I feel like you get villainized the way I feel Senator Joe Manchin should. Me personally. In the media, you get villainized for silly things like earbuds when he's actually stopping progress. Why not just tell people that so we know who the problem is? They're pointing the fingers at the wrong people.
Because I'm telling you, I'm literally The problem is we have right now in America.
She said it again. I'm literally the
party,
problem.
I'm not talking about all Republicans, but the Republican Party.
She said it. She ain't mean to say it.
That is
watch this.
Drawing
earbuds.
She said it.
He's actually
and she didn't mean to say it.
Why not just tell people that so we know who the problem is? They're pointing the fingers at the wrong people.
Because I'm telling you, I'm literally. The problem is we have right now
I'm literally
in America
the problem.
a party. I'm not talking about all Republicans, but the Republican Party that is drawing a line and basically standing in the way of what is in the best interest of all the people. On the issue of voting, for example, and I can't talk about this enough. On the issue of voting, this is about everybody's right to vote. We're not telling people who to vote for. And there's in places like Montana, passing legislation to make it difficult for students to vote, Native Americans to vote, Black people to vote, Latinos to vote. It's happening all over. And any American who takes the oath to uphold the Constitution should agree. Run on your merits. Don't try to win because you manipulated the system to make it difficult for certain people to vote. Mm-hmm. That's what's at stake right now.
Absolutely.
And it's a mindset that we really, like, if we're going to say what's to blame and then who is doing that, let's not forget what happened on January 6th.
That's right.
Here we go.
There was a mob that attempted a coup that with force and violence took over our nation's capital to prevent the declaration of an election where the people have voted. These are the things that are happening, and I just want to urge us.
Hey, Young, when people say that shit, it's like, all right, what do you think? That people that were at the Capitol on the 6th, do you think in their minds they believe that, okay, we get into these doors and now we run the country? Is that what you think that they believe? If that's what you think, then that really shows the level of disrespect that you have for the other side. People aren't that fucking stupid. No one thought that going through the fucking Capitol doors meant we won. We own the fucking country now. That's not what January the 6th was about. But what do they say? The winners get to write the history books. And since these people won the election, they get to write the history. And for on in history and on and on, January 6, 2021 will forever be the day that the Republicans ran into the Capitol doors and tried to take over the country just by being in the Capitol. But there you go. Lying whore at her best. Let's continue.
To really see where the attacks
Willie Brown, my
coming,
bad for talking about your girl.
and who is doing the attacking, so we can hold them properly responsible for what they're doing to harm all of us.
I agree. You talked about a lot of the things that, y'all have done with the administration, but, it's a few things still left on the table.
Charlamagne, it's Simone. I just want to know if this has to be our last question.
Okay. What happened to that student loan money? What happened to the $10,000 promised to the students for student loan debt? Why did they renege on that?
So I know you had Secretary Cardona on recently, and I'll tell you, he is working to increase relief for students. And look, I get it. I get the issue that you're talking about. I had student loans. I mean, look, it's right now we have so many people, tens of millions of people in the United States who are dealing with student loan debt and responsibilities, and it's standing in the way of them being able to start a family or buy a home. And it's real, and we need to deal with it. I remember, I'm gonna date myself, but I had that little coupon where I'd have to pull out the coupon and.
There she go. That's what she always revert to. She get asked a question that she can't answer. Oh shit! Time to go in my sister girl bag and my real card. Hold on. Let me see. What they say? Oh shit! Oh, my Tupac card. I like Tupac. Oh, hold on. Coupons. I use coupons before. I use coupons. Oh, yeah, my family, diabetes. Yeah, we gotta pay. Yeah, we gotta pay. This bitch is a fucking, my God, dog. I'm not even sure I let her suck me off. This bitch is a lying snake. Jesus Christ. Let's go.
and put in the number and send a check with it every month. And that's real. That is real.
You know, we need you to be the superhero that saves democracy. Somebody has to push back on Joe Manchin. That guy is stopping progress.
Hey, Slim,
he's ruining
Charlamagne got a hard on for Joe Manchin.
That superhero. Because what scares me is if voting rights don't pass, or the Build Back Better plan doesn't pass, or police reform doesn't pass, I doubt you're going to get black people to go out there and vote in 2022 and 2024, and, you know, Trump will be president again. What's the plan for all of that?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more on the seriousness of these issues and how people take these issues seriously. And so we're going to have to keep fighting. On voting rights, we need to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. We need to pass the Freedom to Vote Act and be relentless about pushing for that, which is what we have been doing and what I certainly am going to keep doing. We need to keep pushing for what we got to do to really reform the system that we know needs to be reformed with the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. But, you know, again, Republicans stood in the way to get that done. So what did we do?
Nothing.
Through the Department of Justice, we banned chokeholds and carotid holds. We said that law enforcement at the federal level, where we have the power to do it without Congress, that they have to wear body cameras when they're serving warrants. We put in place investigations of police departments that are active investigations right now. We are supporting consent decrees. So we are doing those things in the face of Republican opposition, but we cannot give up. None of us can. And the reality is, because the issues are too serious and they impact everybody every day. And I agree with you. They're very serious.
Who's the superhero that's going to speak against Joe Manchin, though? I want to know who's the real president of this country. Is it Joe Biden or Joe Manchin?
It's these nuts.
I'm sorry. I interrupted. I don't think the vice president can hear you. It's Simone. I'm so sorry, Charlamagne. We have to wrap.
She can hear me.
You can hear me? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me, Madam Vice President?
So I'm sorry. We got to wrap. So I'm sorry to interrupt.
They're acting like they can't hear me.
I can hear you.
So who's the real president of this country? Is it Joe Manchin or Joe Biden, Madam Vice President?
Come on, Charlamagne. It's Joe Biden.
I can't tell sometimes.
No. It's Joe Biden. And don't start talking like a Republican about asking whether or not he's president.
Do you think Joe Manchin is a problem?
It's Joe Biden, and I'm vice president, and my name is Kamala Harris.
Uh-oh.
And the reality is, because we are in office, we do the things like the child tax credit, which is going to reduce black child poverty by 50%, on track to do that. We do things that are about saying that our Department of Justice is going to do these investigations and require that we end chokeholds and have body cameras. It is the work of saying we're going to get lead out of pipes and paint because our babies are suffering because of that. It is the work of saying people who ride public transit deserve the same kind of dignity that anybody else does. So let's improve that system. It is the work of saying that we have got to bring down prescription drug costs, because folks who have diabetes should not be dying because they don't have enough money in their pocket. It's about saying black maternal mortality is a real issue that must be treated by everybody, including the White House, as a serious issue. I hear the frustration, but let's not deny the impact that we've had, and agree also that there is a whole lot more work to be done. And it is not easy to do. But we will not give up, and I will not give up.
I just want you to know that Madam Vice President, that Kamala Harris, that's the one I like. That's the one that was putting the pressure on people in Senate hearings. That's the one I'd like to see more often out here in these streets. Thank you for joining us, Madam Vice President.
I'm glad to.
Yeah, that's the one I want. The one that just talked down to me and reprimanded me. That's sucker. But you know, when you're a true rapist, you gotta play, you know, the soft bitch nigga role at this point when you interviewing the vice president. I mean, it's not like you can come up here and do this type of shit.
I sniffed your chair last time you was
You're
here.
a sick person.
I know. I did. I couldn't help it. You just left.
Never fails.
Come on, y'all. Picture.
I was sniffing the seat.
He was sniffing the seat. So yeah, I understand. He had to switch it up a little bit. But yeah, man, that was a doozy right there. That broad didn't answer one question. She truly just went back into her old notes from the campaign trail and read it off verbatim until she got to the end when she had to check this little bitch ass rapist. This what Kwame called him? Kwame Brown called him that patch-eyed demon. That's a good one. That's a good one. Lesser charge. Lesser charge because he went down for a rape, but he pleaded to a lesser charge. So we call them lesser charge ass niggas. But yeah, I thought this was interesting. That accused rapist is interviewing the goddamn vice presidents when the vice president didn't believe that the president that she's under didn't rape some women. Like, it's a whole fucked up little mess they got going on. But welcome to the Democratic Party. Take this video for what it's worth. I hope you enjoyed it. Merry Christmas, and I'll check y'all later. Peace.